you got everything you wanted from Shadour Sanders in this game, and I'm so excited. I'm sure they're going to name him the starter this week because there's no reason to go back to Dylan Gabriel, because I thought that Tommy Rees did a great job crafting a game plan for Shadour, and I thought Shadour did a really good job making the necessary improvements and making a big step in the right direction to being a great franchise quarterback. Like, it doesn't matter what your record is. It doesn't matter what's happening, whether your coach gets fired or your coach is on the bubble or your coach has a long-term extension and there's players and uncertainty. Like, they know how to just go to work and do their job, and they're professionals. But it's the young guys you worry about the most.
The Cleveland Browns are spiraling into another lost season, and Hall of Famer Joe Thomas just stood up and said what every single person in Northeast Ohio has been screaming for weeks. Why the hell did it take this long to start Shadour Sanders? This isn't some casual observation. This isn't polite football analysis. This is a Hall of Fame legend who bled orange and brown for 11 years, essentially torching the decision-making of Kevin Stefanski's coaching staff without saying his name. And honestly, that makes it even more devastating. Because when Joe Thomas gives you an A grade for a rookie quarterback's first start and then immediately says there's no reason to go back to the other guy, he's not just praising Shadour, he's burying the coaches who refused to play him for weeks while this team circled the drain. Let's get into why this might be the most important Browns interview of the entire season. Because what Joe Thomas just said should have every decision maker in that building sweating.
Nice. When I looked at what I wanted to see from him in his first start, I wanted to make sure that he wasn't taking sacks. He wasn't just backing up if he didn't really have a clear idea of where the ball was supposed to go. He was throwing the ball away instead of taking sacks.
Shadour checked every box, every single one. He protected the football, he made plays off schedule, he pushed the ball downfield, he looked like a legitimate NFL quarterback. And here's the nuclear part of Thomas's statement. Shadour showed massive growth from just 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. That means Kevin Stefanski and his coaching staff saw this kid play against Baltimore, they saw the flashes, they saw the potential, and what did they do? They went right back to Dylan Gabriel like nothing happened. That's not coaching, that's insanity. You had a rookie quarterback showing you exactly what you needed to see, and you benched him. You went back to a guy who wasn't moving the offense, who wasn't opening up the playbook, who wasn't giving this team any chance to build toward the future. Why? Pride? Stubbornness? Some outdated philosophy about earning the starting job?
And so he showed significant growth from what we saw not only in college and preseason, but what we saw 2 weeks ago against the Ravens, to be able to push the ball down the field, to give us some of those easy completions, to give us more chances to be able to run the football and take some easy stuff.
The Browns are 3-11. The season is over. The playoffs aren't happening. The division title isn't happening. The only thing that matters is development. And Kevin Stefanski wasted precious weeks playing the wrong quarterback. That's not a minor mistake, that's a fireable offense. Because you don't just waste games in the NFL, you waste development, you waste chemistry, you waste the mental conditioning of an entire rookie class that's supposed to be the foundation of your future. Joe Thomas knows this, and he just said it out loud for everyone to hear. But wait, it gets worse. Because Shadour isn't the only rookie flashing. Quinshon Judkins looks special. Harold Fannin Jr. is balling out. These young players are showing the exact kind of promise that's supposed to make a lost season bearable.
No, I'm definitely ready to say that Quinshon is a special back. I mean, the way he's able to jump cut and find holes is unique, and it's not something that you can really train guys. That's kind of God-given, having that vision.
You've got multiple rookies who can play, who should be playing, who deserve to have an entire season to develop together and build something real. And what did the Browns do? They wasted the first half of the season on a quarterback who wasn't the answer. They robbed these rookies of crucial development time. They denied them the experience of winning together, of building chemistry, of learning how to compete at the NFL level with their guy under center. And here's where Joe Thomas drops the hammer, because he's not just talking about football, he's talking about psychology. He's talking about what happens to young players when they don't learn how to win.
It's so important. You know, I think about old guys. They've been around a long time. They know what it's like to bring your lunch pail to work and do your job. Like, it doesn't matter what your record is, but it's the young guys you worry about the most. And I felt this a little bit on my last 2 years when we were 1-31 for that stretch.
Joe Thomas lived through 1-31. He watched talented young players lose their edge, lose their fire, lose their competitive spirit because they didn't know how to handle consistent losing. And now he's watching it happen again. He's watching the Browns make the same mistakes with a new generation of rookies. He's watching coaching decisions actively damage the development of young players who should be learning how to be professionals. This isn't theoretical. This is a Hall of Famer telling you that the Browns are breaking their own rookies with bad decisions. How is Kevin Stefanski still making these mistakes in year 5? And then there's Myles Garrett. Oh man. Myles Garrett, the best defensive player in the football, a generational talent, a guy putting together one of the greatest 4-game stretches in NFL history with 13 sacks. 13 sacks in 4 games.
Joe Thomas didn't just praise Garrett. He put him above Lawrence Taylor, above Reggie White, above every legendary pass rusher who ever played this game.
One of his best rushes of the day came late in the game, and I think either the ball got out or it got blown dead. And I looked over to my wife. I was sitting there next to Annie, and I go, there's nobody on earth who's ever walked the face of the earth that could have stopped that move.
Nobody on earth, ever, in history. That's not hyperbole. That's a Hall of Fame left tackle who faced the best pass rushers of his generation, saying he's never seen anything like what Myles Garrett is doing right now. And this team is 3-8. Do you understand how tragic that is? Do you understand what's being wasted here? Myles Garrett is 28 years old. He's in his prime. He's playing at a level that might never be replicated. He's on pace to break the single-season sack record while playing for a team that's actively tanking its own season with bad quarterback decisions. How many more years does Garrett have at this level? 3? 4? 5 if you're lucky? And the Browns are spending one of those precious years watching Garrett carry a 3-8 team because the offense can't function and the coaching staff waited too long to play the right quarterback. That's not just bad luck. That's organizational malpractice. Joe Thomas sees it. He lived it during his career. And now he's watching another generational Browns talent have their prime wasted by coaching incompetence. The frustration in his voice when he talks about Garrett isn't just admiration, it's anguish. It's watching history repeat itself in the most painful way possible. Here's where it gets really interesting, because Joe Thomas is too smart and too diplomatic to directly attack Kevin Stefanski. But he doesn't need to.
Well, I think Tommy Rees did a really good job of doing that, of calling a lot of those rollout plays, of calling those plays. And one of them that I really liked is when you saw the whole offensive line, including the tight ends, it looked like they were almost running like an inside zone to the right.
Did you catch that? Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator, not Stefanski. That's surgical. That's how you dismantle a head coach's credibility without ever saying his name. You credit everyone around him. You praise the coordinator. You acknowledge the players, and you let everyone with a brain connect the dots. Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time Coach of the Year. He's supposed to be an offensive genius. He's supposed to be the guy who maximizes talent and puts players in position to succeed. So why did it take this long to start Shedeur? Why is the offensive line still a disaster? Why can't this team establish any offensive identity? Those questions fall on one person, the head coach, the play caller, the guy who's had 5 years to build something sustainable. And what does Cleveland have to show for it? Another lost season. Another year of Myles Garrett's prime. Another rookie quarterback who should have been playing weeks ago. Joe Thomas doesn't need to say it directly. The evidence speaks for itself. So what now? What happens after Joe Thomas just publicly questioned the coaching staff's decision-making without technically questioning it? Shadour Sanders has to be the starter. There's no debate anymore. There's no controversy. There's no going back.
I think he does. I think it's going to be really tough from here on out, though, because, teams are idiotic if they're not blocking him with 2 and 3 dudes every single time. But, hey, we saw it against the Raiders.
Thomas believes Garrett will break the sack record. He believes these rookies can develop. He believes there's something to salvage from this disaster. But belief doesn't fix organizational dysfunction. Potential doesn't erase wasted opportunities. Hope doesn't change the fact that the Browns just spent half a season making the wrong call at the most important position in football. The real question isn't whether Shedeur should start. Of course he should. The real question is whether Kevin Stefanski has the self-awareness to understand how badly he mismanaged this situation. Because this isn't just about one quarterback decision. This is about a pattern a pattern of conservative choices, a pattern of playing it safe, a pattern of protecting veterans at the expense of developing young talent. And that pattern is destroying this franchise's future. Joe Thomas spent 11 years carrying a terrible organization on his back. He never complained. He never asked out. He just showed up and did his job at a Hall of Fame level while everything around him crumbled. And now, he's watching it happen again. Watching another generational Browns talent have their prime wasted by coaching incompetence. The frustration in his voice when he talks about Garrett isn't just admiration, it's anguish. It's watching history repeat itself in the most painful way possible. The difference is, this time, Joe Thomas isn't staying quiet. This time he's speaking up, and his message is clear. The Browns are making the same mistakes they always make, and if they don't fix it now, this rookie class will become just another chapter in the endless tragedy of Cleveland football. 3-8, a rookie quarterback who should have started weeks ago, the best defensive player in the football, having his prime wasted, and a Hall of Famer who just told you exactly what's wrong without ever raising his voice. That's not analysis, that's an indictment. And Kevin Stefanski better be listening, because the clock isn't just ticking on this season. It's ticking on his entire tenure as Browns head coach.